All right, everybody. I am now super pleased to welcome Jeremiah Hensley to the Jeff Macolino Podcast. I'm used to saying to FL Teams. Jeremiah, how are you, man?
Man, it's awesome to be on this side of it, Jeff. So I was always wondering when I was going to get the call up, right? So, when am I going to get the call up to the bigs? When do I get to go to the Jeff Macolino pod?
Oh, yeah. Now, this is like FL Teams after dark, kind of.
But here's my issue with all of it, Jeff, is I'm the same way. Is like, one, I've become incredibly in touch with who I am as a person, okay? I'm not a guy that any girl above like a 7 immediately swipes right on. I'm just not.
Right.
I'm not photogenic. I don't take those pictures. I don't have abs. I don't have fish. I don't, it doesn't work for me. So, I've got to play a numbers game on this thing. So I've always been incredible. I've always been way more successful in person. Cheers, my friend. Look, halfway through, it's time to up these drinks again. So,
oh, yeah.
It's funny. Like, I held on too long, right? And again, without getting in details, like I napalmed mine, man, scorched earth. Like I just did some stuff that shouldn't have been done, is what it is. It seems, from what I've known in you and this, that you have a very amicable and a great co-parenting thing, which I think is pretty fantastic, right? I mean, I got lucky with that.
Yeah.
My ex and I have become really good friends at this point where it's like we were meant to do this part, not the other part. But I held on, right? Because the kids. Right. So you're like, that's what you're supposed to do, right? And then later, it's like coming out of that ether is really weird, where you're like, wait, why am I fighting for something that made me miserable? Right?
Right. If I hadn't have been so depressed over all this time, I would realize how happy I am.
Right.
Yeah, she took me out to a bar for 2 hours. She barely spoke. It was
just kept feeding you shots.
No, she just kind of stared at me, and I just tried to make conversation. I think I started talking about football because I'm like, she's not talking, so I might as well just go into a long story about football. And I'm like, I just don't want to be out in public and have this awkward situation of her just glaring at me. And I'm like, do you want to head out? She's like, yeah, I can drive you home. I'm like, oh, I meant you leave. I was going to just Uber home and get drunk.
I was going to hang out, right?
Whatever, that's fine. I'll let you drive me home. Save me a few bucks on Uber. And she texts me and she's like, I apologize. I'm just not trying to. And I'm like, look, I get it. But I'm like, you better find someone soon because, at a certain age, it's like expecting to find someone who doesn't have a history is a little bit like, I don't know.
She said you were a narcissist on the first date. That's like the buzzword for 2022. That's horseshit. You can't know if anybody's a narcissist on one date. Everybody, look, if you scroll through TikTok, everybody calls everybody a narcissist. They're like, I went on a date and he told me about his family. He's such a narcissist. I'm like, no, he was just telling you about himself. Like, Jesus, man.
She thinks that's all I wanted was just to come out and hit the home run.
Yeah.
Which I sure would have. If you leave one hanging over the plate,
right. You hang a curveball.
That wasn't the reason that I.
If I'm sitting fastball and you throw me a fastball, I mean, shit. So, dude, that's the awkwardness. Like, okay, so I'll give you a little flip side of like the awkwardness of online dating, right? This is the worst part. I'm a naive man, and I should understand angles and filters.
Oh,
damn it! I still miss this all the time.
Don't fall for the angle from up here.
Right, but Jeff, but I'm still a nice guy, right? Can I tell you the number of people that I've been excited? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go meet them out. We're gonna have some drinks, have some dinner, and you walk in and you see them. And literally the next thought in my head is like, shit, I gotta sit here for an hour. Like, you gotta put it down. Like, you can't just turn and walk out. Like, I'm a nice guy. I'm gonna buy dinner. I'm gonna buy drinks. We're gonna have conversation. I'm gonna pretend to care about your cats. And it's gonna end horribly for both of us. Like, I'm not saying I haven't Well, never mind. I'm just saying, usually it is bad. Oh.
I like women who can come at me and I can go back at them. And a lot of times that's politically based. Like, we can argue politics. We don't have to agree. That's awesome. I love an intellectual discussion that just, if you can change my mind, boom, instant boner. It's awkward when it's with a guy, but
hopefully most of those are through podcasts, Jeff, so it's good. But no, dude, I love a debate too, and you got to be careful with that too, right? But I love a back and forth. I don't even really have to truly believe what I'm arguing against, but I might want to hear your points. Like, I just want to go with that. Look, but I'm also very shocked where I said, like, I get to behind enemy lines looking at the ex-wives. Like, the number of dudes who follow up with "what's up" with a picture that no woman has ever solicited from any man ever. Ooh. I've never known a chick who's like, "Hey, send me a pic." It's not an attractive appendage. It's just whatever. But the number of guys who are just like, "Here's my closer." Boom. Wow. Like, I'm amazed. I can't imagine what it's like for women, honestly, as much as we talk about this. I cannot imagine what it's like for an attractive woman on a dating app these days. I can't even, dude.
I'll tell you the story about the secret codes I created when I hit stop. All right, everybody. See you next week. Thanks, Jeremiah.
Yes, man.